Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for this upcoming full moon that's occurring on June 14th, 2022. And so what I want to do, I'm going to do things a little bit differently for these moon readings ongoing. I'm going to take a look at the numerology and the energy forecast for the collective, which I highly recommend you listen to because it does, we're all a part of the collective. So we are privy to these energies, right? We may feel them. Have a listen to that. And then I'm going to break the energies down into each life path forecast so that you can kind of see based on your life path number, how this illumination may affect you, how you may feel the energies, that sort of thing. Okay, so this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like to take a look at your own personal energies and numerology, please book some time with me. The link for it to be able to do that is in the description box below. Okay, so before I get into the numerology, I went ahead and pulled an animal spirit card for this illumination. And very much aligned with the numerology, we received chameleon spirit. And so chameleon spirit's message is all about adaptation, camouflage. When you think about the chameleon, it moves sort of slowly, and its little eyes are kind of moving all around, just taking everything in, seeing what's going on around it so that it knows how to adapt, so that it knows how it needs to integrate into the situation, how it's meant to experience its environment. And so I think it's really important to mention that we do have a lot of 5 energy coming through in this at this full moon. And so change, adaptation, transformation, all of that is going to be very potent. And so I think that as we move through this illumination, through this energy, which can be at about the span of a couple of weeks, this isn't an eclipse energy, so probably a couple of weeks we'll feel it. Just try to embody chameleon energy, right? Especially if it's a change or a transformation that feels uncomfortable or that is unexpected. Just play like chameleon, take everything in, look around, and then adapt as needed, right? There's going to be probably a lot of need for surrender, a lot of need to go with the flow, that sort of thing. A lot of things that we need to release control over with this illumination. And so instead of fighting that, I don't know, anytime I've ever seen a chameleon, they just seem so relaxed and chill. Like they're just taking it all in, going with the flow, doing their thing and adapting, right? And doing what they need to do. Okay, so looking at the numerology for the collective. So this full moon illumination emphasizes the vibrations of the 5 and the 8. So it's very possible that collectively we could see major shifts or transformations when it comes to power and the balancing of power, shifts in resources and global financial infrastructures. So we may be asked now to be much more adaptable in how we spend money, how we make money, and where we place value when it comes to our purchasing power. So again, the 5 is all about change, freedom, freedom of expression. This is a big, fast-moving energy. So it doesn't want to be tied down. It doesn't want to be restricted. It's go big or go home kind of energy. And that coupled with the 8, which is a very material plane energy. It's very tangible. It's very about, again, power, money, business, resources, power dynamics, philanthropy, all these things, as well as intuition and a spiritual connection as well. But really, I think this illumination is really going to bring into the forefront a lot around change, adaptability when it comes to finances, resources, especially on a global stage. So you may see, again, power play, right? Things going back and forth around power and redistribution of power, where there's injustices, bringing justice to that situation. Could see that all kind of be playing out now. Supply and demand is a real force. And when we buy something, needed or not needed, we're saying we want more of this, whatever it is. So we may need to get creative when it comes to finances and our purchasing power to perhaps send a different message if we want to see some sort of a shift, right? So it doesn't make sense to get angry or frustrated at large corporations if we are constantly showing consistent support for them and how they conduct business, right? So by purchasing their products, we're saying we like what you're doing and we want more of this. So we always have a choice, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an easy choice, but we always have a choice. And many times there are smaller businesses who offer similar products and whose values may be in greater alignment with our own. And so it may be a little bit more pricey. It might take a little bit longer to receive. It might not have that instant gratification. But there are options out there, right? And so we just need to take that power back and decide how we want to use that voice, right? Like how we want to use our buying power, and think about the message that we're sending when we make that purchase. A lot could come up now around, again, power struggles, reclaiming power, and not sinking into sort of victimization, meekness, or submissiveness out of fear. 8 and 5 energy together ignite the desire for expansiveness and sort of ultimate freedom. So anything that's trying to impose overly rigid or oppressive restrictions now will likely be faced with some level of revolt, pushback, uproar, that sort of thing. Personally, you may find at this time that certain routines or mundane ways of doing things begin to feel really sort of claustrophobic. So it would be very easy under this energy to sort of make big sweeping changes within your life. And I would say just, try to keep your head about you as you move through this energy, because when it calms down and you're only left, you're kind of left with nothing familiar at that point because you made these big sweeping changes, you may be wishing that you would have left something standing, right? So again, chameleon spirit can come in at this time and just kind of, again, just take a look around, slow your roll a little bit, and make sure that the things that you are releasing or getting rid of or breaking free from are things that are ready to be released and broken free from, right? Like, you don't just wake up one day and be like, I'm going to quit my job and because I hate it here. And so you just quit your job and you've got nowhere else to go and not the best financial decision or whatever the case may be, right? So it's very easy under this 5 energy to really get swept up in it and just make very impulsive decisions that when the energy sort of fades in a couple of weeks, you may be thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? I mean, the good news is that it's probably only going to be pretty potent for a week to 2 weeks. So any big major changes that you make are probably going to be things that you can kind of backtrack on if you feel you need to. But I would say just really take everything, just do an overview, make sure that what you're diving into or making changes for is what you want to be doing, right? And what feels right for you for a long-term potential commitment. So it could also be very easy to overspend in this period or overindulge. So allow your senses to be delighted without being gorged. And so trust me, you'll thank me later. You can absolutely 100% have your cake and eat it too. Just do so in moderation and you'll avoid getting a tummy ache. See what I'm saying? So be as flexible and adaptable as possible during this period. With 5 energy, change can be around every corner, and it may look different than what you had anticipated, especially when it comes to this 8 energy of business, wealth, resources, and power. So go with the flow while also paying attention to what the situation is trying to highlight for you so that you can make any necessary changes or adjustments that feel good for you. With the coupling of the 5 and the 8 energy for this illumination, think change, transformation, expansion, or restrictions. Remember, you've got the higher and the lower octaves of these energies. Moderation, enjoyment. Don't be so restrictive that you don't allow yourself to enjoy this energy. 5 energy is a lot of fun. It can be a lot of fun. It can be very social, very big and expansive and joyful. And so allow yourself the enjoyment, right? We don't always have to be so serious and sacred about things, right? So overindulgence, impulsivity are also possible. So again, moderation, moderation, moderation. Freedom could come into the forefront when it comes to money, power, resources, business, equity, the more tangible things in the physical plane. So you can make this energy work for you. It's all about perspective and driving your actions in the direction that you want to take them, right? Working with the energy. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the individual life path numbers. Life path 11-2. So this is a very interesting energy for you all. So as a life path 11-2, a lot of times, I would say most times, especially when you're in your higher expression, there's this energy of, bringing people together, finding balance, working with others to find common ground and to really be, understanding of what other people need to make things work or whatever the case may be. It's a very relationship, coming together kind of energy, right? Well, the energy that's coming in for you all under this illumination is very much a self-focused energy. So this is sort of giving you permission at this time to be more selfish, to really just be assertive, to reclaim your power, to use your voice, to stand up for what you need and what you believe in at this time. Of course, not, while throwing all of your 2 energy to the wind or your 11 energy to the wind, still doing it in a way where you're not creating, divisiveness. But I do think that there's always the potential for 11s and 2s to sort of lose themselves in compromise or even self-sacrifice, where it's like they really do work to accommodate others, to avoid conflict, to not rock the boat, that sort of thing. And I do think that this energy is really going to be pushing you to be more assertive, to, again, reclaim your power, especially if there's anyone who you feel has been sort of overly influencing or manipulating you in any way. This is going to be a time for you to recognize that you no longer want to be treated that way and doing something about it, right? And if it causes a rift, it causes a rift. But at some point, you have to stand up for yourself and state what you need. And if that person or those people are not able to meet you there, then you have some decisions to make about how you want to handle that. But this is going to be a time for you to use your voice to, again, stand up and stand out and stand proud of what it is, that you need. Communicate that and stand within your power. So, and not self-sacrificing. And, if you need to compromise, that's fine, right? But not to the point of where you start to lose yourself. There is, like I said, a big emphasis under this illumination of coming back to self, of checking in with yourself and seeing, what do I need? And are the current relationships that I'm partaking in, that I'm investing in, are they meeting those needs, or are they contributing towards fulfilling those needs in the best way that they can without taking advantage of me and my kindness or compassion or whatever the case may be? And again, 11s and 2s are very, very sensitive, very, very sensitive. And so sometimes to sort of avoid that sensitivity, 11s and 2s can kind of overly compensate to accommodate so that they don't have to get burned or face those feelings of rejection or people being upset with them for standing their ground or standing in their truth. And I do think that this energy is really going to push you to see how that is working against you, how you can fully, embrace and embody your sensitivity while not becoming a doormat and not sacrificing who you are and your truth and what you need to accommodate others. So this is a very powerful energy. This energy reminds me of like a lion who is going to protect their pride, who is going to do what they need to do for their family, their friends, whatever, the community, but they're not going to sacrifice themselves for anything, right? It's a very very powerful energy. And so I do feel like this illumination is really asking 11s to step into that in a way, of course, that stays true to your 11 nature, which again is all about balance, relationships, bringing people together and all those things, but not at the cost of self-sacrificing. That's really, really important. I also think that this energy is going to bring sort of like this pull to spend your money for more personal gains at this time, right? Like, so not being so frugal, not being so afraid to splurge every once in a while. This is going to give you permission, again, to just do something nice for yourself. If there's something that you've had your eye on that you really want to buy and you've got the funds to do it, and it's not going to put you in a situation where you're going to sort of regret that because of financial strain or whatever, then go for it. This is a time where, again, you need to put yourself first during this illumination. If it's something you want, go for it. As long as you're not causing any harm to self or others, then go for it. This is a beautiful energy to, again, check in with yourself, bring yourself back into focus, look at what you need, and then move from that space. There's also this sort of energy for 11s around decisiveness. So using your wisdom, using, the information that you have at hand, and being very decisive in your actions and taking a risk, right? Like, not overthinking, not like shaming yourself, none of those things, but just really being very decisive in your action, not looking for somebody else to influence your move, but you taking responsibility for that and being very decisive. I think that's going to be coming in as well. And I feel like if you don't do that, if you do allow yourself to be overly influenced at this time, I feel like that's going to feel very restrictive. And I think that's going to be very uncomfortable. So again, taking a risk is really highlighted at this time. So any kind of like power move or, doing some kind of financial investment or something like that, personal power, again, stepping into your personal power, personal financial independence is very much highlighted at this time, and autonomy. There's something very strong here coming in around, like, again, autonomy, independence, not needing to ask for permission for what it is that you want or that you need or whatever the case may be, but taking the reins and getting it, going after it, doing what you need to do. Again, without causing any harm to yourself or others, but just not being so much of like walking on eggshells, of not rocking the boat or doing something wrong, or again, like doing something nice for yourself and then beating yourself up for it type thing. None of that. This is going to be very much, again, about what is it that you need and what is it that you want and what can you do to get there? Because that's going to be what's highlighted at this time. But it's, again, up to you what you do with the energy. It can be present, but if you don't take control of it or, work with it, then it just sort of is there. So make the most of this energy, 11s. This is a beautiful time to bring the focus back to self and to, again, sort of recalibrate and see what it is that you need and how to go after that. So powerful, powerful energies, 11s. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.